Deflected goals, repeatedly hitting the woodwork, exiting the cup to a team from a league below you. Next, throw in some goalkeeping howlers that lead to goals for the opposition. And then finally sprinkle on some ridiculous own goals in the final minute of the game that cost you a match against a team you're battling for a European place. Yes, of course, it means that Sports Interactive have released their winter update, and what better time to come back for a game against Barcelona away from home. So the form might suggest otherwise, but we are up against it a little bit at the moment. The performances are not very good. Since we scraped past Sevilla in the last episode with a goal from the little magician, we've put in some pretty soft performances. We got a 1-1 draw against Atletico, although we needed an incredibly late equaliser to pick up that point, and we should have lost this game on the balance of play. We outclassed Compostela with a rotated team in the cup, before playing Real Valladolid, who were towards the bottom of the table, and they were 2-0 up in the blink of an eye. We managed to pull it back to 2-2 before half-time, but we looked pretty average yet again in this game. We beat city rivals Espanyol in the cup, although I'm not sure that we really deserve to get past them, even though they're in the division below, before we were 2-0 down against Granada, who are themselves pushing for a top 6 place, but at the time of playing them, they were towards the bottom of the form table. We again had to go down in this game before we finally managed to get level and then take the lead. But it was a worrying sign of things to come. In the game against Valencia, we were wretched, horrible. We should have been well out of this game before we managed to equalise in the 38th minute. We were then completely outclassed for the remainder of the game before Jose Muller threw in that ridiculous own goal when we looked set to pick up a point against a team near the top of the table, even though we did not deserve to. And then we played Sporting Gijon from the division below, hoping to try and progress to the quarter-finals of the Copa del Rey. We were rubbish in this game. They deserved to win it. They may have won this game by even more goals, to be honest. We just did not look at the races, and I'm thinking that our tactical approach might just need a little bit of a rest, and I think we need to shake things up a little bit. We've got players out injured, we've got players out of form, we've got players who are unhappy because they're out of the team, we've got players that are miserable because they've been fined for their terrible decision-making and performances, and I think we need to mix things up a little bit. We need to try and shake the team out of their slumber a little bit. So we're going to go with a 4-3-3 and try and bring some width back into our system, something we've not really played with for well over a year, but I think we need to make a little bit of a change. It means we're going to be sticking with a flat back four and a half back, but we're now going to shake up our midfield a little bit. Gone are the Carraleros. Instead, we've got a box-to-box midfielder and a roaming playmaker, rather than a central midfielder on attack. We were struggling to get a tune out of any striker playing alongside Rossi. So now we're just going to play Rossi on his own and bring in these misfiring strikers to see whether they can come in off the flanks and do any better. We have not looked good recently, and a game against Barcelona is really not what you need in these situations. But there is a little bit of positive news when it comes to the transfers. So positive news item number 1, Johnny has arrived at the club. He joins us at the end of his contract from Inter Miami. Turns out he's worth around about £8 million. Not sure he's going to be a regular starter, although he thinks he's going to be an important player. Certainly he's going to be an impact sub and a good rotation option. He's played a couple of games so far. Not covered himself in glory if I'm honest, but he might need a little bit of time to settle in. The good news is he does already speak Spanish fluently, so that might help him to settle a little bit easier. The next good news item is that we finally managed to get a contract offered to Kieran Murray, and he accepted it. We didn't have to wait for him to be released from Bohemians in the end. About a fortnight before the end of his contract, he suddenly decided that he would negotiate with us after all, and he's now come in. He scored a couple of goals and made a couple of assists in the cup. Not been as good in the league, I have to be honest, But again, he's only 20, looks like he could really develop, and we're pretty pleased to get him on board. And that is not the only transfer news that we have, because we have other players who will shortly be joining us. We've got 2 players signed up to arrive once their contracts expire in the summer. One of them's a bit more experienced. This is Morten Hjulmand, who is 28 years old. He's going to be coming in potentially to play as a defensive midfielder for us. Looks like he could be pretty decent, and he's going to be experienced as well. I've had to overpay for him a little bit because I only wanted to offer him a 2-year deal and he wanted a 4-year contract. But I think, given his vision and his off the ball and his passing, he might be another good player in it that might be a little bit more creative than Pacheco is at the base of our midfield. But he looks like he could be pretty robust as well. So hopefully he will be a useful addition. And we've also managed to pick up a striker that's going to come in the form of Fabian Luzzi, who I've signed predominantly because he's Spanish. And when we were registering a squad for European competition at the start of the season, it became apparent just how few Spanish players we now had, now that we've been upgrading the quality of our squad. So we're bringing him in. He's quick and he's good in the air. He's not a terrible finisher. His composure's pretty decent. His off the ball is okay. I'd like his teamwork and his work rate to be a little bit higher personally, but he can drift out wide if we continue to play with width. Bizarrely, he can also slot in at a centre-back on occasion, although I don't think we'll be using him there. So that's another decent signing that we've got. I've also got a loan bid in for a player in the form of Adam Ida, who again is good in the air. I'm not sure I'll go through with this deal, to be honest. I'll be paying £10,000 a week of his wages, and I put in a loan offer because the transfer window is about to slam shut, and I was getting a little bit frustrated by our misfiring strikers, but I've since made the decision to revert to only 1 striker up front. I might pull out of that bid for Ida when it comes to confirming it. We've got to get out there and take on Barcelona now. This could be a cricket score given the way that we've been playing, but you never know. A change in tactic might just do the trick. So is a little part of me regretting bringing you back for a game against Barcelona when we have been playing so poorly? Absolutely it is. Last season when we played Barcelona, at home granted, well, we had possibly our best result ever. We've now beaten both Barcelona and Real Madrid in the last 12 months. But we are not looking anything like that kind of side at the moment. I don't think we've got the goals in us to beat Barcelona, and we certainly don't have the defence that can match up to them. We are leaky right now. In the summer, the priority is 3 new defenders. We look porous at the back. We are leaking goals like you wouldn't believe, and right on cue, we have let Cucurella wander through our defence. Barca have had 3 shots already. They've not taken any of those chances. But we are looking fragile to say the least. We've got Milanese playing as a box-to-box midfielder. He bursts forward, gets tackled, and we've got to win the ball back all over again. We've got 17 minutes played. And let's be honest, we're not getting near Barcelona here, are we? We're closing them down a little half-heartedly. And they're just working their way gradually up the pitch. We've got the effort. We've got the endeavour. We're not getting anywhere near them. And they're just patiently stroking the ball around us. They've now gone long. Cucurella is in again. And he doesn't miss a second time, does he? And our right back, Rosanas, has got not even close enough to foul him. And it was a mistake coming back for this game, wasn't it? We are 1-0 down already. He's left Rosanas for dead. Rosanas is our skipper at right back. He's been a loyal servant to the club. If he is playing as starting right back for us next season, we have not upgraded as we would have liked. We're now on 23 minutes. We're into the highlights again. We've got the ball. Can we do anything with it? Mbula comes in from the flank. He's had an effort. Given the space and the time that he had, it wasn't a particularly good one. but at least we've had a shot on target. I've just noticed that we are matching up pretty similarly to how Barcelona are playing. They're playing a winger and an advanced playmaker rather than our roaming playmaker and inside wingers. We've got ourselves a corner and Bula takes it. We're going to pick up the second ball here. No, we're not. Rossi ambles his way over and Barcelona pick it up instead. We've got the ball back now. Geordie's in. He's had a second good sight of goal. Given those two chances that he's just had, I think he should have taken one of them. We've got Rosanas playing a 6.3. Not surprising given his input into the goal that they scored. And we fouled them in their own box. And we're building up from the back. Here's Samu Pacheco. Given the own goal we scored recently, I am not confident when we've got the ball at the back, by the way. Although Muller isn't playing today, it was a horrific error. And here's Rosanas trying to make up for his poor play for their goal. Milanese, Rosanas. We're going nowhere here, are we? We're going backwards. Pacheco works the ball to Cordoba. Rossi, we're in again. Ah, and of course we have hit the woodwork again. It's winter update time, kids. It's just what happens. We've made our way to half-time. Given how poorly we started, we've not had the worst end to that half. We've actually shaded the match stats just, but we're a goal down, and the players are going to know about it. Team talk done, but no changes made. The players are not playing too badly offensively, according to their match ratings. Although defensively, there's a couple of ropey ones in there. We need a left back for next season as well. And I also think we need a right-sided centre-half. If we are going to be even better next season than we are this season, I've got to remember to keep it all in perspective. We're chasing a top 4 place here. Although the defeats that we've had recently have meant that we've slipped from second in the table down to 5th. Which is an indication of just how tight things are towards the top of the table. We have got a little bit of a gap to the teams that are outside the European places, but that is going to be quickly eroded if we carry on this run of form. Athletic Bilbao will already cut the gap to 3 points. If things carry on like this, we've got one more highlight. We're on 60 minutes. We've not forced a shot in this second half so far, and I feel like some changes could be upon us. Will we still only be a goal down when we make them? They've got the ball through. And they have got a second goal. And it's Sadio Mane, who is now 61 years old and still playing at the top level for Barcelona. And let's be honest, he didn't have to do any work to score that one, did he? They've got the ball there and they've just teed it up on a plate. He just peels back. And it is that simple. We've got it all to do now. Time to bring on the little magician, I think. Okay, changes are made. Lander is on, as is Brendan McComb, who's come in over on the right-hand side. And we're straight into a highlight, and Barcelona are pressing us once more. 2-0 down. It could get worse here. De Jong's on the edge of the box. Bernardo Silva's there. Mane's there. It has got worse. It's 3-0. This is what I feared. This is going to be our 3rd defeat in a row, including exiting the cup to a team from the division below. We are in a little bit of freefall, and I think a little bit of thinking's going to be needed to try and rescue our season a little bit. It looked like we might be in contention, potentially, for taking a top 4 place. Now I think we could be sliding our way out of the European places altogether, not even qualifying for the Europa Conference League at this rate. Lander's on the pitch, though, and there's always a chance when the great man's on the pitch. And here he is. He's dabbed a little bit the ball through to John Jules. And Pacheco has got one back. Not our usual goal scorer, Pacheco, but he has just struck one. From the edge of the box, of course, Lander was the guy that knitted it all together. Here he is. It's the pass before the assist that's always the most important in a goal. And Ter Stegen probably should have done a little bit better than that, but we've now got it back to 3-1. A second goal would make it competitive, nay, might even make it exciting for the final part of the game. Let's demand a little bit more from the team. The match stats are not terrible. considering we're playing a top side, although a goal here would make the result look poor. 86 minutes on the clock, they've headed tamely over the bar, and we are going to be 2 points behind Atletico Madrid in the chase for the Champions League places. Given that defeat, it wasn't a terrible effort, I suppose. Let's try and keep morale up. We didn't look that threatening again. Maybe I need to have a little think about where we go tactically from here. If you have thoughts, given your knowledge of the squad that we have, get them down in the comment section below. We are all ears, because we are a country mile off Real Madrid at the top of the table. We are slipping way behind Valencia, who are second in the table, and we've just lost to our arch rivals Barcelona, who are now comfortably in third place in the table. It looks like we'd be in a battle to try and squeeze into that fourth place. We look like we could be falling out of European contention altogether. Let us know what you think we should do down in the comments. We're going to try and rescue our form before we see you next in Beg, Borrow, Steal.